Oh, hello, beautiful people. It's a spotty Vince here today, along with a rather brown-looking Mark. He's got himself all tanned up. So, welcome all. We apologise. Well, I apologise for last week. I was not well. It seems like this recent flu that's going around is more potent than a certain pandemic we had, as far as affecting people and sticking around for a while. Even now, some 8 days into it, I'm still not 100%, but that's just the way it goes. Well, tonight we've got a few things to talk about. The bull market that's coming up, that's just started. For those who managed to get a few coins, some of the better coins, XRP, XLM, etc., they've made some significant profits over the last couple of weeks. So that'll be very interesting stuff to talk about. Also want to bring to the forefront that the FBN network, along with Voice of Freedom, we're running our $2 lottery, which is at the merch store. And just for all those who are wondering what happens when you win $750, here's a comment from that. Once I remember to press play, it will be anyway. So I've got to get onto the right screen, that one.
I can't hear him, Vince.
Can't hear him?
No.
Oh, you've got to wonder sometimes. I mean, I literally put that on with the sound. It said allow sound to go through. It's in the Chrome tab. It should have worked. Thank you very much, StreamYard, for not working yet again. No. So that was Phil Cooker. He's basically exceptionally happy it came in at a beautiful time for him to actually help pay some bills. And he's also going to donate a little bit of that towards some Ainsley silver or gold or something in that respect. So congratulations, Phil. For all of those wondering where that lotto is, you will be able to find it down, a link to it down in our chat section underneath in all of our comments area. So, Mark, tell me, what have you been up to?
Working a lot this week. It's been fun. Lots of work. Not fun. Not fun at all. Been trying to keep my eye on what's going on. And there hasn't been lots of announcements this week other than kind of the ones we had last week that we were probably going to do in last week's show that we didn't get to. So they're still pretty relevant. Just about Ripple Bank and things like that. A few of the things going on in the sector. It's more exciting over the last couple of days is the price action that we've been seeing in the market itself. Bitcoin's gone new all-time highs. 117. I think it might have even touched nearly 119 or something. I'm not sure exactly. I'll have to bring up a trading.
118 at the moment.
118 was it? We had XRP hit $3 American. XLM was going bananas. It's at 39 cents at the moment, US. I'm speaking in US prices because I'm that's what everything's talked about when you're looking everything up. So I just keep using that kind of denomination. But yeah, XLM's gone like I think it's blown up. We're talking we've done 55% in 4 days. So we're doing XLM's killing it. And XRP's not far behind we did 32% in 4 days. So not too bad. XLM still got a little bit to catch up because it dropped back down from its all-time high a hell of a lot more, around about 150. It went up about 600%, but when the move was completely over, it only really held 150% of its of its upward movement, where XRP held on to around 300%. So long-term holders of XRP at the moment are pretty happy. There's now pumping back up close to we're getting back close to all-time highs. We're going to push that soon, I'd say. XLM too, still a great buy. It's still under $1 Australian, which is, I'd say, anything under $1 Australian is a great buy, especially for what it's probably going to do. But yeah, just the market itself at the moment, absolutely pumping. People have all their reasons to say why they think it's pumping and what's going on. I guess it's just time. The big boys, I always just think it's just time. The big boys have said, let's do it. And they want to make some money, or it's part of the cycle, and that's what's happening. The announcements and things like that for Ripple, for the bank and all that, yeah, they're all positive, but I don't think they really affect price too much. I think we need to see the real world utility come in before we're really going to see things pump. I've got some really cool price prediction stuff coming up that we can do later on in the show. We can cover some Val Hill Capital, some guys that are actually know what they're talking about. Put in a lot of money, a lot of time to have a look at the XRP itself and say, okay, where can this thing possibly go given certain market conditions? So that's interesting.
So a bit better than us amateurs.
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Yeah, we can repeat it and make ourselves sound smart, but that's.
So, question: what do you think about the fact that Ripple is possibly going to become a bank?
Well, it's massive. It's one of the big. It's going to be one of the big linchpins for bringing cryptocurrency into the real world and sort of crossing the streams, as they'd say. They're not only are they applying to be a bank, but they've applied to be the highest form of bank you can be. And I would assume that they don't do these things without thinking they're probably going to be approved. So it's sort of, if you want to do a share screen, give me 1 second, I'll find.
Right, so there is a lot that's happening in crypto while Mark's getting himself sorted out and adds that to the screen. Taking myself off. We are looking at the start of the bull run for this year, as the way I can see it, and over the next 2 to 3 months, it's going to be quite remarkable. But picking what you want to purchase in a bull run is the hardest part, and you don't want to be in there for too long. So what I mean by too long is that you want to be very careful what you pick, and you don't want to be too late in getting in like most people. Anyway, go for it, Mark.
Yeah, I hope you're already in. That's what, I hope you're not FOMOing into this at the moment. Maybe a bit of XLM because it's cheap. But yeah, so this is Eleanor Terrett, who's pretty well versed on what's going on in the crypto market at the moment. As you can see over here, she's journalist and host of Crypto America. She was talking about basically. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out where my mouse is. I've lost it. Oh, hang on. Sorry, apologies. My mouse has dropped out. I'll go back to this one. So she was talking about crypto firms with a renewed push access to the Fed, and basically applying certain companies that are applying for master accounts and things like that, and in an attempt to legitimize themselves and cross the streams in a way where it's more involving stable coins in a way than anything. But this post from her was very interesting. Just we can go through it. It says, in addition to applying for an OCC trust charter, Ripple has also applied for a Fed master account through the trust company it acquired last year, Standard Custody, which report Monday, which she reported on Monday, though she said she's admittedly misses the Ripple connection in her report, which is what I was just talking about in a way. The Fed master account is for what the big thing she wants to talk about was being granted a Fed master account is much bigger deal than getting granted an OCC charter in terms of access. It was described to her by a banking lawyer that in terms of tiers, a master account is a diamond bank and is a diamond account, and a bank is platinum. Trust companies are also gold, and money transmitter licenses are silver. So basically, like I was just saying before, that they've applied for the highest tier of banking or OCC charter access that they can get, and most likely they're probably going to be approved for this, meaning that they're going to be able to do anything you can possibly do with a bank. So they'll be able to lend, and most likely using they're probably going to start using treasury-backed RLUSD and things like that. But it's going to open up the market for most likely being able to probably, in a way, stake XRP or use XRP as a liquidity transmitter. So you can probably put your XRP in, or they can hold your XRP for you, or you'll be able to use your XRP as collateral to get loans and things like that. So it's absolutely huge. Like, this is going to really open up the world to the digital asset market, and them being the not even gold tier bank. What did they call it? Sorry, it is the diamond tier bank. It's enormous. So Ainsley Bullion, I saw, have put out a post about this themselves, saying just when this kicks in, if this kicks in, which I assume it will, it's going to be enormous. It's going to drive price and utility in the market. Something like you've never seen. People are underestimating what's going to happen. This is going to I would assume it's going to bring in the possibility of XRP being that reserve currency that people talk about. Definitely a bridge currency. But they're going to start being able to possibly use the escrow that Ripple owns or is holding and put out to people. They're going to be possibly able to use that as a backing for like a reserve in a way. And possibly people talk that they could just decide to set the price in a way that where if they just gave it, say they just said to the US government, hey, here's all the XRP in escrow, you can basically do what you want with it in a way. And what they can possibly do is what some people are talking about, is that they could just set the price of XRP to $10,000 and say, okay, now we've got enough here to pay our debts, to do everything we need to do. And then also it stops people like, countries like China and other mining companies where they're mining Bitcoin and are able to take control of the Bitcoin through mining, then unable to do that through XRP because it's pre-mined and with a set price of $10,000 or high, whatever they set. It's now gone to a level where you can't just accumulate it for nothing, for pennies on the dollar, and then manipulate it. So it's a very good. People are talking about it's a possible very huge tool that's going to be unlocked just through these kinds of actions, where basically Ripple's cornering the market. They've got the transmission. They've now got the bank. They've got the treasury side of it. They've got the holding side of it. They've got every possible thing that you could need to transmit data or technically value over the blockchain. They've got it all wrapped up in every sector now, and it's just a matter of time before we see what it can do. And it's going to be a really good thing for XLM too, I think, because it's a clone of XRP, and it's going to open up its market too, I would assume, because it's just going to be able to follow in XRP's footsteps. And it's really interesting seeing the market at the moment with the price that pushes with XLM. It's leading XRP at the moment, and it's really interesting to see.
Yeah, even though XLM and XRP are not tied together.
No,
they're two separate entities altogether, but
yeah,
it's just interesting to see the flow on. So that's in relation how XRP and XLM related. Effectively, they're not. All right, it follows similar coding, but they're not related in any form. They're not tied together in any business sense. That's probably the best way of putting that. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have some other stuff for us, Mark?
Oh yeah, I've got. Give me a second. I've got to go. I've got to keep figuring. I'm a professional, not professional.
Oh, so that looks like he successfully dropped off the stage. So let me add this to the stage. This is Banter Bubbles. All right. You can find this on the web just by searching for Banter Bubbles. And it gives you a bit of an idea of what is actually happening in the price market. This is on the daily chart just here. Mark looks like he's on his way back. He is. And we'll just add him back to the stage. Obviously.
Jesus, it's really easy to press the wrong button, isn't it?
Well, you go search for what you're looking for, mate. Nothing like live, because this is where you can make errors and everybody gets to see them in real time. So effectively here we can see that XLM has been doing very well, and so has XRP over the last in the day charts. They're both nice and green, etc. in here. Part of what people are saying is that if you're going to get into this bull market and you're going to buy alternative coins like XLM or XRP or Pengu, etc., you actually need to be a little bit careful about what you're purchasing. All right. So ideally, you want to go into, there are things called narratives in Bitcoin. Let me see if I can find a narrative situation. I think that's what's currently trending at the moment. There is also an option somewhere here, not the newsroom. Is it watch lists? No, I've got to go find that myself, but I will find it again. It might not be on this one. I might have to log into my one. But in the meantime, we'll put this up and take that down and add that to the stage and let you go for it, Mark.
All right, so this one's really fun. This one's this one goes from very very conservative predictions to absolutely insane. So it's pretty fun to look at, and it's been put together by people that really know what they're talking about. So this was a white paper this is Molly. We give some credit out to Molly Elmore, who is a lady who is she's a financial advisor that works for Valhill Capital or Valhill Advisors. And XRP came across their table a long time ago, and they said, we really need to look at this and see what it's going to do. So it says, I'll just read her post, but she's basically got together with a whole heap of people that know what they're talking about, and they decided to put all different market situations to XRP and said, okay, what price would it be if that happened? So it says she's got, okay, so what is the fair market value of XRP? And she talks about fair market value being that at the moment, she says that XRP does not have a fair market value. It is being suppressed. And like some other cryptos as well, she'd probably argue, but definitely XRP is being suppressed. It's starting to come out of it now, but it was suppressed when she had printed this. I think she put this out a few years ago. So she talks about fair market value, meaning that when XRP goes to actual market utility and it starts to do what it's supposed to do, what price could it reach at fair market value when people say, okay, this is what it's actually supposed to be worth? She says this question is more complex than it sounds, and led to a small group of people on nearly a 2-year journey, picking up more along the way to support the effort. A thread about our white paper to determine the fair market value of XRP. So anybody that wants to go and look for it, you can look up Valhill Capital stuff, and it's a 15-page document, I think, that you can read. And she's kind of summarized a lot of it here. She says, in December 2020, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple that led to a sell-off of XRP and a subsequent decrease in the market price. In the months that followed, Jimmy Valley, which is her partner, noticed an unusual details in the case that led to him to wonder what was really going on. In Q3 of 2021, Jimmy and the team at Valley Hill Capital decided to send a proposal to the US bank, the Fed, offering to sell their XRP and that of others who wanted to participate at a substantially higher price than available on exchanges. The point was to bring attention to an appearance of regulatory capture and a discussion around the implications. She thought this is where we're talking about the manipulation, where she's basically saying there was regulatory capture, meaning that XRP wasn't the price that it's supposed to be. So we offered them to say, we'll do this deal with you. And they obviously said, no, go away. But then she said, so how much did the lawsuit hinder the adoption of the XRPL from its ability to realize its intended use case? If this potential use case had been reached, what would the value of XRP have been? This is when the concept of fair market value entered the discussion and how it differs from market value. Shortly after, Valley Hill Capital invited a larger group of people to come together, the confidential committee. The goal was to unite and to create a plan to address the collusion harm caused by the SEC. In the fall of 2022, the confidential committee formed a small evaluation committee of people experienced in quantitative and financial valuations. 6 different valuation models were built over the span of several months. The valuation committee made the decision to share our findings along the way. This was because not all models were completed at the same time. So here they have global transactions. So this is their model variables, where they'll talk about what basically all the things they looked at to affect what was going on. They have global transaction volume, money supply, daily transaction volume, projected economy growth rate, XRP circulating supply, XRPL transaction speed, per second, discount rate, years until steady state. Some of these things I could tell you about. Some of those things I have no idea what they're talking about. Oddly, this decision brought substantial criticism. We were leaning and publishing what we were learning on Twitter and YouTube as they went along. Some critics felt that they should have waited till they were done. Where's the more fun stuff? Much to our surprise, the first set of models. So then they got a bit of following. People wanted to know what was going on. And the fun bit comes down in here. So we're getting to the 6. They have the 6 models, which cover a range of specific scenarios. All show that the value of XRP would have been substantially higher than it is now had the lawsuit never happened. So we didn't have 4 years of them being big bad meanies to the sector, or to XRP and Ripple themselves. XRP would have been where it is now, probably at least 4 years ago. But then we get down into, this is the fun part in here. So she's gone through and she'll talk about how, they also talk about how there's a flywheel effect, how when certain things happen, things start to ramp, and then basically they gather momentum and they start to shoot for the stars. But these are the big crazy analysis that they have, and they had, this was what they'll talk about. These are the different companies saying if all the different things happen, these are the prices that we're going to have, and we've got a very small price down here, which we're probably going to see in the next I'd say 6 months, hopefully, $9.80. And that's from Golden Eagle, is predicting that they'll get that in the 2030. And then we have all the way up at this nice little one here, which is $513,000. And these are US prices too, by the way. So that would be insane if we ever saw a price like that. But that's say you've got, where are we? You can probably explain it. The range of the simulated outputs values from the 6 models is very wide, but 2 dominant and connected variables have a powerful influence on the price. And this is the flywheel thing that she says. We refer to those variables as transaction value and store of value. Both are addressed in great detail through the paper and as concepts of the virtuous cycle. So as the XRP adoption increases for payment and digital asset transactions, XRP in price increases. Then it goes for price increases, drives up demand to store value, reducing availability supply for transactions. New use cases then emerge, which is called Javon's paradox, driving vertical and horizontal adoption growth, competing for forces of increasing adoption and store of value demand lead to exponential price increase. And these are apologies for going all over the place. Let's say those market things come in and they've got this thing called back pipeline flow, collateralization, discounted cash flow, certain percentages. They've got different years and quantum liquidity. Quantum liquidity is the big one for 515,000. But these were very technical terms and certain market situations that can possibly happen that are going to bring prices. So we've got $9.81, 908, 3,500, 4,800, 9,000, 12,000, 15,000, 18,000, 21,000, and 122,000. Excluding the two outliers on both sides, XRP value ranges from $3,500 to $22,000. We're currently at $3, not even $3 American. So if you look at being able to buy and hold for a long time, at least, let's say a few years, 5 years, let's say 2030, you're definitely going to see some huge price things come in, price rises come in. We're seeing gold and silver. We're seeing everything run at the moment because, like what Kath talks about from Freedom Financials, the system's breaking down. And these are the things, XRP, XLM, they're the building blocks of the new financial system on the other side. So it's kind of like you got to take a bit of a punt now, because if these prices happen, like, they're life-changing. You don't even have to buy a lot to absolutely change your life for the rest of your life. You could pay so many debts off. You could set yourself up for the rest of your life just by taking a small gamble on your future, by going, okay, I've got to put my pride, my everything aside, and just say and understand I'm watching this program for a reason, and that there's these things are coming, like Kath talks about, like Kath and Carl talking about the other night. So if you see that, and this is coming from from someone who's very qualified in what they do, and she got so much flack for putting this out that she kind of moved away from the sector in talking about this stuff, and she talks more about mental health and things like that now, and just making sure your life's okay with what's coming. But they're outlandish. $513,000 is crazy, but no one thought Bitcoin was going to go to $100,000 either a couple of years ago. So people really got to do their research and try and understand what this kind of stuff is and what it can do if you happen to be in the right place at the right time. I'd definitely say XLM is a great buy under $1 at the moment. XRP is definitely going to help you out as long as you can withstand the ups and downs of the market. But please feel free to jump in. If you want to move on, or we can do some more price prediction stuff. That's like some crazy stuff. But I've also got like some that would be more long term, obviously, for the long term hold. If you've got people that are looking at, say, what they want to happen, what's going to happen this year, we could do that too. We've got a pretty good guy that's basically you're looking at targets from $15 US to $40 US this year. That's for XRP. So you can probably put the multiplier on your XLM too. It looks like how they move in tandem, that like any prices I give you with XRP, if you put your multiplier on your XLM and looked at how much I'm saying XRP is going to go up, XLM is going to go pretty close to that too. and you could probably sort of project prices that way of a few dollars for XLM. We've got. Pardon?
I had one of the other places that I watch actually talking about XLM. They reckon that one quite comfortably will shoot up there. Another one that they've recommended that's going to bounce as well, that may even hit $1 in this next bull run, is Doge, surprisingly enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Right,
I hope you're holding your Doge still, aren't you? Good.
Yeah, I'm still.
I'm glad you got in on that. I was just too scared to buy it. I was like, I bet you as soon as I buy it, it'll crash.
Yeah, no, still got my Doge. Part of this current bull market, how long do you think this bull market's going to last for?
We got people because it's a little bit delayed. People are sort of talking, saying they're thinking it's a bit delayed, though. It's kind of some people are saying in the next year, like 2026. You could definitely see it run into 2026. So some people would, if you just looked at the yearly ones at Christmas times, usually you'll see it pump into Christmas time and then they'll sell off into the new year. So I'd be definitely looking out for end of the year pump. We're probably going to kick off now and get going for the rest of the year. It's not going to go straight up. It'll go up and down a bit. But I reckon it'll run to the rest of the year. Then you might see a sell-off, but then you could see it just like a sell-off and then a higher low, and then it just pump again into 2026. So It's sort of...
I personally think that it's going to end early.
It's
just my feeling.
I would never argue with that because that's 100% possible. That's the crazy stuff with this. It's like you just got to put your helmet on and strap yourself in and, and go for the ride.
So if people are looking to invest, sort of not financial advice, because we never give any financial advice in this program, just to make sure that that's stipulated. But if you're looking for trying to make some money, and it's easy enough to do if you get in early enough, like I currently have with the Doge. I got in for Doge at 10 cents. So I'm not quite sure what it's doing right now, but it's more than 10 cents. But there are certain genres or I'll get you to drop your thing, I'll take you off and put me on. There are certain areas within the crypto space that are called, I'm trying to think what they're actually called. I've got a mental blank. But basically, they're areas like, for instance, what we can see here, where we've got memes, proof of work, storage, layer 1, layer 2, DEX, DeFi, etc. These are various themes in the marketplace. And in here is where you can actually purchase various coins or tokens that will hopefully over this bull run make some significant rises. But I think you've got to be very careful here in what you do. If you're going to go and delve into some of these, then you want to look at the top 2 or 3 projects in each of these areas and purchase only those. Don't go diving into new ones that are just hitting the market, because they're going to make a quick rise and then a quick fall, and you'll find yourself actually losing in those situations. So, for instance, we've got here this is in storage. So these are the various guys that are in storage at the moment. Now, what's storage all about? It's about being able to basically cloud store your files on a blockchain. You know how we have storage like Apple Cloud, and we've got Microsoft's cloud, and we've got whatever. These are storages by using the blockchain, and people who are helping doing these storage areas get paid in crypto to do that. So, for instance, myself, I could set up Store J, for instance, and allocate some of my hard disk space and my internet to that storage for other people, and Store J would pay me in Store J crypto. So there's various things like that. So what I wanted to do was just to bring in and show people the various types that are there. I'll just go and click us into a better screen. these are the various narratives. That's the word I was looking for, narrative. Right, we have smart contract, we have storage, deep in. I'm not very familiar with that. Lending and borrowing protocols. You know, you can borrow and lend money through crypto. NFTs, never got really into that, but real world assets is another one that's coming into play. So each of these will have various cryptocurrencies or coins or tokens attached to them. So if you're going to look at investing in any of these in this bull run, and a lot of people will do that, they'll start off with the main ones like the Bitcoin, the XRPs, and then they'll make some profits. So they'll sell out of that and try and buy into one of these faster moving ones, altcoins, to catch the altcoin bull market when it hits. My advice, and it is not financial advice, but my advice is if you're going to go into these narratives like artificial intelligence, proof of work, or AI agents, or even gaming, I'm sure gaming's in there somewhere. Gaming, there it is, GameFi. That you look very carefully at which ones are the top in those markets and really only just invest in them. But that was just something that I wanted to sort of show. And that gives you a bit of an idea of the various narratives that are in crypto. How much are you into narratives, Mark?
Depend. I guess it depends what story you're trying to tell me, isn't it?
Oh, look at that. I just took it right off the screen.
Narratives in crypto, nah, not many. I want real world in crypto, that's for sure. Yeah, I like narratives when it comes to like Trump and and Q and things like that. That's fun. But yeah, otherwise it's yeah. Don't tell me a story these days. I want the truth. That's what we're here for, hey. If you want, I've got another interesting post that I'll try and share this one with you. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Share. Where is he? Was it?
I got myself muted. That's so every time I cough, you guys don't hear it. Still nobody has guessed why we call this coin toss. Okay, so here's the deal. Right, if anybody can correctly guess in the chat down underneath, comment underneath the videos, if anyone can correctly guess why we called this coin toss, you will have the choice of either, and I'll use Ripple because I'll just be nice. You'll have the choice of $40 worth of Ripple, or I will buy you 20 tickets in the current lottery. But you have to guess what coin cost is. Right? So if you put your guess in the comment, 2 up. What do you mean by that? 2 up. Donna? More information, please.
She's doing good. She's doing good.
More information. Come on, Donna. Elaborate.
That's definitely the best guess we've had so far, isn't it? It's she's you're getting
close
warm.
to the mark.
You definitely got very warm. She's pretty much. Yeah. It's a great Aussie tradition, isn't it?
Do we call that? Do we
always
actually say that she's got that? I thought it was about the game 2 up that Soldiers played. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, nobody else can win the prize. Well done, Donna.
She's done well.
You got it. Okay. So which would you prefer? The chance in the 750 for the lottery, or would you prefer $40 worth of XRP? Because you have won it. Well done. Damn,
Wow.
I thought that would take a while for somebody to get. She got it.
She just smashed it. She just came.
Smashed
She was
it
like,
out
she's
of
been
the
waiting
park.
that whole time. She was waiting for an offer.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
That's
So
funny.
you better let us know which one you thought, Donna, because you got it. But yeah,
All right, well,
so
I
it was
found.
all about the old two-up that soldiers used to pay. So yeah, which one would you prefer, Donna? Give us your preferred option.
It all feels like a bit of a gamble, doesn't it?
Well, when we're talking crypto and investing in crypto, yeah, it is. It can be. That's why you need to do a bit of study and look into which actual narratives are currently happening. At this stage, I'm following AI narrative because I think that's going to go quite some time. She said it last time on VOF. Yeah, no worries. You still haven't told me which one you want. Do you want XRP or do you want in the lottery? I need to know. Lotto. Beautiful. Please send me an email, right, to vince@vofhq.com, Donna, and I will get that arranged for you. Okay? That would be much appreciated.
Congratulations.
Now, congratulations. Yep, we shall throw that in for you. Okay, I got totally off sidetrack there. What else have you got for us, Mark?
I've got a little bit more, just a little bit more to add to the XRP price prediction, which after this I'll give it a rest.
XRP guru.
Yeah, sure people probably want to hear about something else other than XRP. But so this was from Random Crypto Pal, talking about David Schwartz, who is the CTO at Ripple and is one of the creators of XRP. He explains, I had the tweet in a better version, but we'll have to do it through this one if we can. He explains that XRP, it can't be dirt cheap. That doesn't make any sense. If XRP cost $1, they'd need 1 million XRP, which would cost $1 million. If XRP cost $1 million, they'd need 1 XRP, which again would cost $1 million. And what he's explaining there is he's talking about big transactions. So he's talking about he's not talking about when we're just trying to sell a couple send a couple of dollars to each other peer to peer. He's talking about when countries and institutions want to send big amounts of money to each other. They're not going to use, if they're going to use this technology, XRP can't be cheap because there's only 100 billion XRP. So if XRP was cheap, there's way, way more than $100 billion in the world. And if they wanted to start sending billions and billions or tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of dollars to each other, they couldn't do it they would have to use the whole supply of XRP. So they would have to go around and get all my XRP, all Vince's XRP, everyone's XRP, and say, we need all your XRP just to do one transaction. So that's not very viable. It's not very energy efficient at all. It's not going to work. So the way to get around that is if XRP was $1 million, well, then they only need 1 XRP to do their transaction, and it would still only cost them less than 1 cent to do that transaction because the blockchain is so cheap. So they can send billions or millions of dollars for nothing because the XRP is so valuable. And that's one of the big pluses of XRP getting in so early now. And that kind of applies to XLM as well. XLM, Jed McCaleb famously burnt half of their supply, which was an interesting move. I'm not sure if that was done to pump price or what, but it didn't. So I'm not sure exactly what it was. But it would apply to XLM too, because they've now got half the amount of XRP. And if they're doing the same kind of transactions where they're sending value across border, peer to peer, whatever they're doing, they're going to need some pretty valuable XLM as well. I don't see the volume coming in like it's going to for XRP, because XRP seems to be more institutional, where XLM seems to be more company peer-to-peer in a way. But it could definitely apply to XLM, this theory. So that this is one that people really need to be aware of if they're investing in XRP, that you're in so early. You're in so early that like there's less than 1% of the world has even held cryptocurrency. So you need to understand that even if you make a few bucks, there's probably a lot more on it. If you can handle and do the weight, I think there's a lot more on the table in the future. But that's not financial advice. Not financial advice.
Okay, so what other things do you think that there are that's in the market over the next few weeks that are going to play out? I mean, we're hearing about the second stage of the Australian CBDC is currently coming into play.
I heard about that. That's interesting. It's scary. If the government's behind the CBDC, that's I don't want anything to do with that. I'll be trying to do everything I can to stay away from that. I don't know. This is where we're going to see. We're either going to see that the government's got teeth with cryptocurrency, or they're in a way maybe the white hats kind of thing are doing their thing and allowing things to emerge. But yeah, like if we see an Australian CBDC, sorry, I can't even say it.
Central digital bank currency.
Yes. If we have one of them come in, then we're screwed, because then they can possibly outlaw other things. But technically, I don't know how they can stop you from accessing. They'd have to go full China and take control of the internet to stop you from accessing XRP or Bitcoin or anything else. But that's why they would introduce CBDC. The hope on that is that Trump has said multiple times whether or not he's going to renege on that, like he's reneged on a few other things lately, is that he no CBDC in America. So that's huge. That's if they're going to be, and he's been touting that countries are going to try and take their world reserve status away from them, and he's saying we are not losing that. That is one thing we're holding on to. So I think that if the world reserve currency isn't a CBDC, that's got to be a big positive for the freedom of the planet.
So for people who aren't aware of what CBDCs are, if they're watching this program, it is basically a cryptocurrency coin. It will be a CBDC coin will be equal to $1 Australian. And like anything to do with blockchain ledgers or cryptos in any format, all of these are computer programmable, which means that you can have smart contracts. So I could do a smart contract with Mark. I could set one up, and we would have certain terms of agreements in that contract that, like I'm going to give him this much, and he has to abide by the rules of that contract. Otherwise, it breaks the contract. Yeah, just typical business type stuff. Well, it also means that you can control what happens with the flow of that currency. So I can control what I give to Mark, and as long as he abides by the terms of that smart contract, he has the use of that money. What if he doesn't abide by the terms of that contract?
What if I buy too much meat that week or drive too far out of my 15-minute radius?
Yeah.
They might turn their money off. This is
where it gets scary, because it is a smart contract. And it does give the government the ability to monitor where you spend every single cent, right? What you spent it on, how you spent it. There's even discussions where that you must spend it all, or otherwise they'll take it away from you. That's fear-mongering, admittedly, by the people who don't want the government to control our lives. But that sort of stuff is 100% feasible. Having been a programmer, I can fully understand how that can be done. But so CBDC, central bank digital currency, is a way where they can control what we do, right? Because it's recorded on the ledger.
Yeah.
Now, if I walk into a shop and I buy a pie and I hand over a $10 banknote, right, they can't tell what I bought because there's no record of it. And after I've eaten it, there's definitely no record of the pie either. So effectively, sorry, I just couldn't resist. That's a bit of dry sense of humor from an IT person. But effectively, if I had paid with a card, they knew I bought something, right? But if I paid with CBDC, it's quite possible that they'll have it in there. Not only did they know I bought something, but they know what I exactly bought, because that could be programmed into the CBDC.
Which I've been thinking about. Okay, so how are we going to get around this? And I just stumbled across this thought the other day when I was thinking about wallets and paper wallets. I don't know if you ever had an old paper wallet, an old crypto paper wallet, where you can create your own. You can take your computer offline and create a wallet on your own computer, print it out, and then send cryptocurrency to it. So it's effectively like paper money. And I was thinking about if they were going to take cash away, or that would be a possible way to keep cash in a way, because you could have, like you were just saying, that a CBDC is programmable and traceable in a way that they could say, okay, we're going to have everything that you buy is accounted for. Where if you had cryptocurrency, just even if you just had it on a piece of paper that's sent there and it's represented as a 5 whatever or 10 whatever, you could trade that with people in the occurrence that you had a CBDC that was programmed, and or if they turned off your internet in a way to say that you can't use cryptocurrency, you could still use cryptocurrency that way, which is you would have to be very well prepared in a way, like you'd have it sort of set, but I think there's a way there that could happen. They could do cryptocurrency cash, but I'm 100% against CBDC, and is why XRP and Bitcoin was touted from the start, that it's not programmable, and that they can't do that to it. As long they have to shut down the internet, they have to take your internet connection away from you, which is that's
where these things come into play.
Yeah, cold war.
Byron Bob from Ainsley Bullion.
Oh, right? Sorry, that's silver.
That's silver.
Sorry, yes. Here I am thinking it's a thumb drive.
No. No, it is
silver.
It's silver. I'll see if I can get it to come up.
Yeah, it's up.
All right. That's 1/10 of an ounce of silver.
That's a smart buy. I didn't go that low.
Sorry?
I didn't buy that low. I was hoping that I don't actually have to trade it with people.
But yeah,
I hope we don't go Mad Max and I actually have to use silver to buy bread and things like that from people.
But yeah, so right here, right, there's 40 coins in there, 1/10 of an ounce of silver. So should the world go to hell in a handbasket, at least I've got something to trade. But yeah. Right. So also for people who are interested in buying crypto, we actually do have our links below. Just to say that again, there is a link, referral link there for CoinJar for Mark, and also for CoinSpot, which is the guys I use. They are both trusted exchanges that are legitimately registered here in Australia. So you can actually go and buy your crypto from there. I don't know how the CoinJar one works, but with CoinSpot, you can actually use PayID to transfer money into it, and it's almost instant.
Yeah, I think you can do that on CoinJar too. It's very easy. It is very easy from CoinJar. It takes, I send my money there from my bank account. It's literally there in a minute, maybe 2 minutes. I can buy crypto a couple of minutes later. It's really simple.
Now, just out of curiosity, Mark, what bank are you with?
I'm with the Greater.
With what?
The Greater Bank. It's
Greater
one that
Bank.
was,
I haven't heard
yeah,
of that one.
yeah. I think it comes from Newcastle.
Okay.
When I was a carpenter, my when I was an apprentice, my boss said, if you want your pay when I pay you, go with the Greater, because that's who I'm with. Otherwise, you got to wait. And I was like, okay, I'm getting a Greater account, and I've had them ever since. But they were like a building society, and they've turned into a bank. So they're actually one of the good ones that I use. Like, they've never given me any problems with my crypto, buying crypto, or anything like that. They've never tried to tell me I can't do this or I can't do that. When I ring them, you get an Australian person. It's really good. It's pretty cool to do. Yeah, they're actually pretty cool.
I know I use NAB for my personal banking, and that does allow me to do it. It does tell me, it gives me a warning, that this is considered gambling, right? But are you sure you want to do this? And they do that. So, of course, that if I lose my money, I can't make a claim, which is fair enough. But I believe places like the Commonwealth Bank might actually even stop you from doing that.
Yeah,
so
I'm
just
definitely
be aware of that. I could be wrong about the Commonwealth Bank, just so they don't sue me. But, that is something. SwiftX is something that was just mentioned by King Duck there. So thank you very much. I just thought I'd put that up.
And it's definitely a liquidity thing. The bank's not letting you use your money. They don't technically have it themselves in a way. They don't have just the 50 or 20 grand just sitting there for you to use. They don't have that in cash. So they got to kind of create it in a way. Like, they've got to finagle it from somewhere. And especially when you take it out of the fiat and put it into crypto, well, that's gone out of the fiat system, and they don't know when it's going to come back. So it's minimizing their liquidity and their ability to have cash flow and operate as business and do what they're doing, because you've just taken their money, and that's why they don't want to give it to you. And and especially with money becoming more scarce, kind of thing. Apart from they just keep printing it, but I guess it's scarce for them in some way, that they're now going, bugger this, we're going to try and hang on to what we've got.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too with cryptos like Ripple, XRP, I should say, and XLM and Bitcoin and Ethereum. That breaks the CBDC because we have other ways of trading.
Yeah. Well,
just tied to that.
One of the big points that I haven't even probably touched on this yet for XRP. I'm not sure if it's enabled on XLM, but I assume they could do it. But the XRP has a DEX, a digital exchange, built into the ledger, so you can trade anything on the ledger, just the ledger itself. If you know how to do it and tap into it and get into it, and you actually trade your XRP with people, you literally just need the ledger. You don't even need to other coins or anything else. You can do it straight through the ledger. So it's another way that they're getting around a government's way to say, no, we're going to stop you from using what you're going to use, because you can just go straight to the ledger and use it that way. Once again, they'd have to take your internet connection away from you.
Okay. Well, we've just hit our hour mark, like real quick. Again,
jeez,
it didn't take long.
You've got to stop me from talking sometimes, Vince.
Shut up, mate. So, hey, Peg, welcome. We're just about to finish up. Yeah, true. Well, hopefully you did cover your ass with both cryptos and metals, because that's basically where it's going to go. Right down the track. I wouldn't trust keeping anything in the bank personally. The only thing I keep in the bank is the amount of money that I owe them for my house. So that's all I keep there.
Yeah. Well, I've used crypto for years as my savings account. CoinJar has been my savings account for years. Any money, the way I did it to accumulate as much as I could, I'd get paid, and I'd say, okay, I need this much fiat money to get through my next 2 weeks. And I'd leave that in my bank account, and then the rest of it, I would buy XRP with it every time I got paid, knowing that I've got that CoinJar gives me a credit card that if I really need the money, I can just spend it off XRP if I really need it. But otherwise, it was always just accumulating. And I think that was the best way to do it. It's just like you just said, there's not much in your bank account. So I'm the same. There's nothing in my bank account because I put it in XRP every time.
Right. So you're going to let me hack into your computer now? Or, no. But effectively, yeah. And over this next 2 or 3 months, we're going to see some significant news about various cryptos as the bull run comes into play. But everybody needs to understand that most people get into the bull run at the top of the bull run, right? Not at the beginning of the bull run. The beginning of the bull run effectively was about 6-7 months ago, right, when the prices were nice and low. But even now, people can still make some significant profits. I mean, if you bought XRP at $2.17 American 2 weeks ago, it's now nearly $3 American. So you've made what, 30-odd% on it?
Yeah,
in 2
and
weeks.
we're just getting started.
Yeah, right. The same with the Bitcoin. It went from 110,000 to 118,000. So that's the same sort of thing. And there will be others that do similar jumps. You just got to make sure you pick the right ones, and that's the hard part about all this. And maybe we will discuss that at other times, but now we're 2 minutes overdue for our hour. And I said we weren't going to go past an hour. How is Flare connected to XRP? I heard it was. Really? What's this one?
Flare is just, it's a token that's on the XRP So Flare is just like just another token, just like how Ethereum has all different tokens running on Ethereum. Same thing for Flare. I got airdropped a lot of Flare a long time ago, but I can't remember exactly what they're doing. It's definitely involving payments, but it's just a token. Simple answer for that is it's just another token that they've created to go on the XRP. Definitely watch out for it. Do your research, and it could be something that you might want to have a look at investing in.
So that will be a bit like my Phoenix meme token that's on the XRP that I bought.
Yeah, though that one's definitely not a meme token. That's 100% doing something. They've been creating and doing engineering for quite a while now. It's taken a while to get off the ground. I think they've had a bit of a change of direction here and there. But they're definitely not a meme coin. They are doing some legitimate stuff. Well worth people looking. I can maybe have a look into that again. I just can't remember what they do off the top of my head. I don't want to just tell you nonsense.
Right. It's one of the Ainsley guys mentioned Flare as a good investment on their show.
Yeah.
Well,
listen to him.
About it.
Right. Yeah, I got airdropped a whole heap of it a long time ago because they just gave it. If you held XRP and your wallet was compatible with them, you got airdropped like a lot. And I've still got it somewhere. I have no idea where it is, but I can't remember where I put it. But it's somewhere on one of my wallets somewhere. But hopefully it'll go well one day and I'll make some money. But yeah.
Obviously, my wallet wasn't compatible because I never got any.
Yeah, well, that's the Coin. I know Coinbase stole everyone's Flare. I'm not sure. I had Exodus. You had to do like click a few buttons and register through Exodus to get it. But I did it. I received it. I just can't remember where I put it. I definitely haven't sold it because it wasn't worth anything. It wasn't worth selling. But I've got some somewhere.
All right, mate. Well, before your missus comes and shoots me, I better let you go.
Thanks.
So thank you all for attending, for those of us that jumped in and said hello to us. Donna, I hopefully have got an email from you and we'll work that out so that you have won yourself the ability of 20 tickets inside the Sanctuary Lotto. So with any luck, that might bring you a winning of $750 as well. So you never know. With that, you can find the link for the Sanctuary Lotto, which is supporting Sandy and the Donkey Sanctuary. I nearly said factory. That wouldn't have been nice, but Sanctuary. And you can go and help proceeds from The lotto helped both Voice of Freedom, FBN Network, and the Donkey Sanctuary in keeping them alive and running. So, and for the lucky winner, like Phil, right, came at just the right time for him. So it's $750. He is now richer. That got sent the other day. I know because I sent it. So I wish everybody the best of luck from tonight. So it's going to be goodbye from me and a goodbye from...
And a goodbye from me. Thank you very much, guys.
Me. So it's goodbye from the two me's. All right. And we shall catch you next week at 8 o'clock or South Australian time, or 8:30 New South Wales time. And we'll catch you then. Cheers, everybody.